Daniel, how you doing, man? First time I'm gonna try to knock this out on a vertical live. I ain't done this in a minute. Hope you guys are doing good. Lay Geno, perfectly. The man I wanted to see show up. How's everybody today? You did 13. Good to see you, man. Let's go. I would get a soundboard with one of those stupid, all of the crazy sound effects, but it would be on the phone and that defeats the whole damn purpose. So the purpose that I'm doing today's live for is that one amongst the maker group is working in a very, very tight space. You know what I mean? And ain't got room for crap like my miter saw or the band saw I got over here. They ain't got room for any of that. Yeah, there's a mini bike. Relax. I am not lying. It runs. All right. General, that's perfectly great, man. Thanks for coming in and thanks for letting me know you're here. Pine, good to see you, friend. Thought I'd do this a little bit different because I'm always brainstorming this kind of stuff, but I never get community input. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to walk through the process where we're all kind of doing it together. And then if anybody has any, questions or they want to know how I arrived at a conclusion, it doesn't matter. The point is, let's get all this figured out together. So my idea is to start with this guy. Our good friends at the Hazard Fraught gave us the Chicago Electric 15 amp variable speed jigsaw. Craig Posh, good to see you, friend. Oi, buddy. You guys smack that like. As the UK guys are always saying, big up the likes, come on. I jumped a little ahead of time and I made myself a little carriage. Now what the carriage will do is the blade will go in like so. This sits in the middle and then it slides back and forth just like that, right? So with that, if I build a machine that allows me to rotate this carriage on a pivot, right? Then I can make my cut, and I will be doing the exact same thing a miter saw would be doing. So that's the premise. That's the idea that's cooking. Now I just got to get it into reality. And like all of my builds, if you've never been part of one, thank you for joining. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to use whatever crap I've got laying around to make that happen. Billy, good to see you. A lot of you guys are returning back to the channel. You've been to me before. This is a new one. This is like a vertical, and I don't know how I feel about it. What do y'all think? Can't really see a damn thing. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. The format of the screen. But the idea, again, is the premise here. Let's take our carriage, find a way for it to pivot. Pivot! For those of you who like Friends. Is it? How the hell do I get it not to be reversed? That shit annoys me. Flip. No, that didn't do shit but turn it around the other side. Ah, I hate that, man. I don't know how the hell to make it not backwards. That's obnoxious. You know what? I got a computer right here. Let me ask. Yeah. Fix mirrored YouTube live on mobile. I'm not doing all that. Good God, no! I don't need to download the whole damn lot. Okay. I digress. I don't even care. I don't even care. You ain't got to read nothing because I ain't gonna put nothing up there that you got to read. Let's just go with it. The reason that the orbital jigsaw from the Harbor Freight was my choice is probably, well, because it's cheap. And secondly, it's got a lot of features that some of the other cheap jigsaws don't have. Like I've got a variable speed where I can change it. Michael, I'm gonna make this jigsaw into a miter saw. It's gonna be kick-ass. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but when I'm done, it'll be kick-ass. Hope everyone's having a good day. Nice restful Sunday. I tried to wait till everybody was out of church. That's not possible. There's a good way to see me do something that's telling me it's going to be impossible. Bet your ass it's about to be possible. Hi, Bev. Yes, sir, 13. I'm going to turn a jigsaw into a miter saw. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this little compact piece of MDF that I got. Not really that big at all. Let me get my tape measure and we'll get some measurements. And all of you British suckers, you're going to have to do the conversion to metric because I ain't playing with you today, okay? I'm going to do it in imperial. If you don't like it, you kiss my butt. Okay, I'm going to need my cigar box. I'm definitely going to need my tape measure and a pencil. Oh yes, sir, Coach. I am about to get her done, baby. Let's do it. All right. For those of you who measure in freedom units, 27 by 13. So it is 27 bald eagles by 13 cheeseburgers. This will be the base that I plan to use, and I'm going to build a platform really similar to what a regular miter saw would use. Here, give me a second, I'll show you exactly what I'm thinking. Because I've got a miter saw sitting right behind you, and I'm going to use that for reference. Okay, bada bing, bada boom, hit the flip. Okay, so when you look right here, right, this has a table with a fence and a rotating segment that will hook in my miters, right? I can replicate that to nest underneath a jigsaw without any problems. We can do the same thing. So we've got to start with this kind of pattern somehow. I don't think it has to be this big because I got a big 12-inch blade over here. I think what we'll do is we'll set it so that that arc is a lot smaller. but will accomplish the same thing that we're looking at.
What's up?
Yes, Frank. You watching me on live?
Yeah.
Cool deal.
And now I'm curious, what happens if I take the video feed from the camera and put it in front of the camera?
Then you would create an infinite loop of the camera broadcasting the camera broadcasting the camera broadcasting the camera, and it's a little off. You're going to screw with my audience. But if you really want to do it, give me a second. My 11-year-old wants to play. Here. Let's take your phone.
Okay,
I'll put it right there. And now, give it a minute. See? Now I'm showing the phone. And then you'll see me on the phone, in the phone, showing another phone, and it'll keep on going forever.
Oh, well that's neat.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love you, kid.
Love you.
All right. While I got you on, best plasterboard fixing. My plugs failed on supports attached to the swing and attached to the wall. What kind of swing are you hooking to the wall? That would be a good question. I'm not trying to be kinky and stupid asking that. I have no idea what swing you're moving. I mean, if it's holding a 200-pound person while you're engaged in activities, then that's going to be a significant amount of torque we need to account for. Just saying. I'm going to get rid of some of the doodly-doos on this board because it's obnoxious. Am I still broadcasting? We good? I think I am. Okay. I'm going to approach the same way that... Yeah, exactly, Jenno. Is this going to be a bedroom swing, or are we talking about a... Is it that kind of swing, or a porch swing, old person swing, a kid swing? As I was saying, I'm going to approach this much like I do my long form videos or my other lives. If I'm talking down to you, I don't mean to. But there's some folks that don't know what the hell's going on, and I'd love to be able to help them out. Don't ask. The swing is in a restaurant for Instagram photos. Anyways, it's chained to a beam, so upright is sound. But I put some support underneath to stop it moving, and the plugs have failed in the plastic board. So I need to make the supports underneath solid. Don't do plastic board. That's perfect. I'm going to show you over here a wall. I built an actual faux wall, a fake wall, on my shop to solve a lot of the problems that you're talking about. Nested behind all of those tools, you see that wood panel wall section that I built right there? If you can do it, the reason I'm showing you this is because it's demonstrating the principle that I want you to understand. I'm dispersing the load across a large surface area and giving myself anchor points throughout so that it will even hold up that 600-pound material supply shelf. It has no problems. And it's freestanding against the wall, and it's never going to make a single ding in the plasterboard. I hope that helps. So if you can add another supplement on top, is what I'm saying, then you ain't got to worry about if you're going to hit a stud or if you're not going to hit a stud. You're going to have a whole area that you can use for anchor points to be able to put extra supports in there to stop that racking on the swing you're looking at. All right. The material for my shop jig that I'm going to be using is MDF. MDF being medium density fiberboard. It's basically sawdust and resin glue smashed together in a pancake. There's wood supports underneath, but I need them to be solid on the plasterboard wall, so I need good fixings. Yes. The idea of what I did with that faux wall, with that stand-up wall, is that I found the studs behind it, and I attached the fake wall to the studs, so that anywhere I anchor on that fake wall, all of the force I'm exerting is going to be on the studs. So then you can put your supports anywhere you want, and they're still going to be in the place where they're never going to exude any force on the plaster. You're just going to go right into the stud. Everything's attached and anchored to the wall. That way, you're golden. That's the way I would do it. Ooh, if you have no standout and no studs to hit, they may be asking for something that I don't think you're going to be able to pull together without tearing up more things than you'll be able to fix. A raw piece of plasterboard within any backing, it just doesn't have the integrity that they're looking for. There's got to be some kind of other material with a little bit more oomph to it to be able to pull that off. I'm sorry, Michael. I wish I had a different answer. And some of that might be the fact that I can't see what you're doing, but that's rough. That's a rough spot. All right. So back to our miter saw. Yeah, Jeno said it best. Maybe a different location might be the better idea. Somewhere where you got something that's part of the framing and the infrastructure to be able to anchor to, you'll be in a lot better shape. Other than that, the only other thing you can do to ensure its durability is to make it freestanding in some way of its own. Man, we have all been there, buddy. I absolutely feel you there. All right, so my thinking is, we just saw what the miter saw's base does. It's got that hemisphere and those angular pieces with some standouts that allow us to pivot. I think we do the same thing on our MDF here, but before we do that, we should make this the same length. So I'm going to put scratch mark. Oh shit, I guess you guys want to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put a scratch mark here. So we're the same size. And then, let's grab my combination square. Grab a square here. And I'm going to give myself, oh, I don't know, let's give it 6 inches of standout. Then we got plenty of room to do that. So we'll ensure we get 6 inches up here. 16 minus 6 be 10, so we'll be right there. Connect the dots. We'll cut this piece out, but before we do, thought about those expanding ones that are used for fixing radiators to the walls. If it can hold a radiator, but the radiator doesn't have a lot of lateral force pulling on it. It's just there to make sure that if somebody accidentally bumps the radiator, they don't knock the damn thing over. So it's only going to take very light loads for a very short time. The momentum and the centrifugal force that you're going to get from a swing is going to be way beyond what I think those little anchors you're thinking. They're little butterfly anchors. I know what you're talking about. Hold on. I got something here somewhere. Well, I can do it this way. I know what you're talking about. They're like this, and they're spring loaded, so when they go through the hole, then they butterfly, they pop out like that. Yeah, Michael, that might be a good idea. Just let it swing. Just be done with it. All right, so we got this, and we want it to pivot at our center. So let's go, I know we're 27. 27 by 2 is 13 and a half. Be right there. We'll base all of our dimensions off 13 and a half, so we're centered in our piece. And here's what I'm thinking. Okay. There's our 13 and a half. Then from there, we're actually going to do some 45s. Like so. Okay. Let it swings how I live my life. Jeno, nasty ass. Stop it. Look at the name. 13-year-old. Come on, Jeno. It's all right, though. We're good. Okay. So now I'm using my sled as a reference measurement. I know that thing is going to swing this way. This is going to be my cut. I don't know if I'm going to fit my pencil through there. I may have to wing it and eyeball it best I can. And what I'm doing is I'm putting one side of my carriage flush with this 45 that I drew. Doing the same on the other side. And then I'll use those okay, to figure out exactly where my pivot point is going to be. Ah, looky there. Okay. If we cut this a bit off center. Okay. Yes, we did. We'll make a new one. Point is, all right. So at the end of the day, our fence, we've got 2 inches. It'll be right there. And right there. Okay. So we'll have a fence. Stop at 45 here. A fence stops at 45s here. This will be our pivot point. So we'll cut this, cut this. All of that can go. Tell me if I'm losing anybody or if what I'm doing doesn't make any damn sense. Mike, Jacob at Dan's Homestead, good to see you guys. Also, the individual who's interested in this project is watching, so thankfully, I'll try to explain as much as I can as I'm going. I'm also literally going to do my damnedest to build this with only the jigsaw so that an extraneous number of tools ain't going to be necessary. So I'm propping this up on some 2x4 blocks so I got room for my jigsaw blade underneath. Okay, watch your ears. Kick my variable speed up, come on. damn sure did just follow the wrong line, but that's okay. Gonna be all right. So some of you also notice that this is what's called an orbital jigsaw. As I kick this over, it's going to change the action of this blade from straight up and down to a rotational like this. It's going to make it cut more aggressive. And that's too aggressive. That thing's just bouncing all over the damn place. Works better if I'm not trying to cut my tuba. I can't wait, man. We'll get a compass. You ain't worth damn money. Cheap compass. Alright. We'll make it work. I'm glad you guys are sitting in and following along with me. This is fun. It's cool not to just be puttering around out here in the shop by myself. Wrap some tape around the pencil so that the compass can get a bite on it. And of course I probably put too much tape on it. Because of course I did. Because that's how I do. You're fine. Thanks for hanging out, Joe. I think I'm going to arbitrarily give myself that a big. Get that cut. use the edge of the bench. Let's get all these stupid 2x4s. Shout out 731 Woodworks. Hashtag 2x4. Cracks it up every time he does it. Clamp that fella down. We're good. All right. Let's make our hat and cap. Once we get done with how this prototypes, then we can put together a refined version that finishes up. We know it's all working the way it's supposed to. And we will figuratively be in the high cotton at that point. What are y'all working on today? You got any projects going on? Well, I know Mike Wilson's having fits with that, I don't know, down chicken wow wow swing he's putting in a restaurant. Okay, so now we've got this piece, looks like so. And coupled with our other piece of MDF, where the hell did I lean it up at? Right behind it, Davis. Hello, honey sandmaid, how are you? So I got all these 2x4, that'll do it. If I were to give this a little gap, like so, reinforce this like so, then we're pretty close to what I was thinking of as far as a miter saw goes, or at least a miter box. That's what we're doing. Before there were actual miter saws with powered circular blades, it used to be you would buy a miter box. And the miter box, you use a simple standard like handsaw, like a back saw. And you'd make your miter cuts that way. So rather than using the jigsaw, you'd have one of these guys in there and you're making your miters that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to circumvent this and be able to use the jigsaw to make our cuts, so that we've got something with at least relative efficiency similar to a powered miter saw, but that can be broken down and put away easily if you're in a little bitty place. The person that asked about being able to do this, and I thank them for doing so, they work in an incredibly small space. I mean, they're maybe in a spot that's 6 feet by 8 feet. I mean, they ain't got room to do hardly half of anything. And being able to figure out a solution for an alternative for a miter saw would be useful for them, because they're going to make a lot of crosscuts and stuff. All right. Well, again, for prototyping, let's just blow some holes in this guy. Set the depth on this countersink bit so I can use those little smaller screws. For those of you that have never seen me before, welcome to Mike is Making Stuff. I am Mike. I make stuff. Beat the hell out of that like button. And if you accidentally trip over the subscribe button while you're going over there to kick his ass, well, then he had it coming. Again, I'm not looking for anything refined here, guys. I'm prototyping something so that we can put together a solution for our friend in his smaller workspace. So this will be uglier than the neck it's in. But I bet it'll do what we want it to do. Or at least get real close. Aw, Jenno, I wasn't trying to call you out, man. But I do dig that you're appreciative of what's up, man. As I zip together, the idea of this vertical live that I'm doing today is a little different format than what I usually do. Of course, again, if you find value in it, I mean, subscribe if you like. I will continue to be doing these lives and doing videos. But today is about trying to show everybody how we can how we can brainstorm these solutions and think more like an engineer or whatnot. If you have anything you want to chime in, by all means. Alright, so I got all of these connected. I'm going to invert this. And for the time being, screw this to the base. It won't need many screws for the prototype. Just enough to hold it together. And guys, when you're prototyping a new solution, or you're putting together a new product, you have to test if it's going to be viable or not. And in doing so, don't get hung up on the craftsmanship of what you're making in that first iteration. Just get it together so that it don't fall apart on you. Because your first intent is nothing more than making sure your harebrained ass idea isn't as harebrained as it originally seemed. Alright. So we've succeeded in getting us together a box. I'm going to flip this around so you guys can see. I mean, I got this right here. And then we've got the little carriage that we made earlier. And the idea is that this guy will sit right there. I'm going to put a pencil in there to use as a pivot point for now. And then this swings one way or the other. And with a fence right here, you'll be able to make, oh God, what size is that? That will have easily accomplished the same thing as a 10-inch miter saw. That slot is 11 1/4. So I'm going to recenter on my pivot line. I could wear the pivot jokes out from Friends TV show all day, but I will spare them. Alright, that looks like that gives me a full swing, 45 degrees both directions, doesn't it, to you? I think that's a winner. So I'm going to put a circle right there, which is completely off center. I know that this is my center line, so I'm going to move that circle right there. And then, the first way I want to attach this with MDF is called a T-nut. If you guys are familiar with that, it's well, those of you in Europe certainly are. Jenno, I know you're familiar with this. It's a way to impart machine threads or metal threads into a piece of cheap wood like this MDF. I'll sink these barbs into the back side, and then as this screws down, it pulls on those barbs and tightens this up so that you got an anchor point. And I think that's the idea, is I'm going to anchor the pivot that way. So first thing we need to do, drill a hole big enough to accommodate for that. Yep, cheap bed frames, IKEA furniture, all of it uses that stupid garbage. But I can't say stupid garbage because in today's purpose, it's actually serving something useful. What I'm doing is I'm gauging my Forstner bits against this T-nut. If I can find the optimal size to blow that hole, and it looks like I just did. Alright. And that's what I love. That's the spirit of what I do. For those of you who are interested in what my channel does, I don't want to make perfect furniture. I don't want to be the ultimate craftsman. What I want to do is show you guys that you can do anything they're trying to sell you. You can do it on your own with the right mindset and the right ingenuity. I was pushing really easy there because I didn't want to blow out this underside really bad. But I recycle, I repurpose, I rebuild broken things, I grab pallets, I pull stuff out of the dumpster or the skip or whatever you want to call it, out of the bin. And then in turn I'm able to use that to make the things I want instead of buy the things I want. And you can do it too. Today's build is an example of one of the things I want to show you. Having a bunch of tools is not a requisite to be successful in doing this. Because you can apply that same thinking. Hell, if you want a tool, make the tool. The hell are you waiting on? Why do you need somebody to sell you the tool? Just apply some thinking and just make it. And I may be feeling like I'm talking down to somebody saying that. Well, that's easy to say. Just say make it. I mean, I don't know how to make a damn thing. What do you think I'm here for? That's the point. That's why we're here. We're going to learn it together. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm tightening down this screw, which in turn, the barbs on that T-nut are up like so. And the more I exude pressure, the more it's going to draw that T-nut up into the MDF and sink it into place. And now I can't turn anymore. That's bottomed out. So just like that. We have machine screw threads in our pivot point. Show me some love in the chat if you're following along with what I'm doing. Do you see where are you catching what I'm throwing at you? You seeing what the plan is here? Harder, Mike. All right, easy, Cedar. Come on. All right. Let me. I think I got a less long-winded screw over here. Yes, I do. All right. You see the plan? Now, optimally what I'll do is I'll have a fence back here, and then this can rotate to whatever angle you need, and you can make your cut. But I got a couple of obstacles that I need to overcome here first. Namely, we are going to need that longer bolt because this track has to sit on top of the work that we're going to be cutting, not under it. So in a perfect world, it'd be up like so. And if you're going to cut this board, well, then the idea is that that sits atop there. We torque this down or lever it down or do something to cinch it in place. I envision that this is sitting up against a fence right here. And then pop the blade out. You ride this in the track, and that makes your cut. And then it stops because of the pivot bolt. So it don't ever cut through itself. You don't cut the carriage up. And you always get right in line with the fence. That was a good lucky dodge. I mean, that came right to 2 inches away from the backside. So that 2-inch fence mark that I put on was spot on. Your blade is going to come right out on the other side of the piece and not go any further. It'll stop and hit that nut. And you could cut a piece that big. I mean, that's a winner, I think. Figure out the rest of the logistics here. What do you think, guys? You think we ought to do the fence next? Let's talk about the engineering considerations of the fence, and then we'll start executing that. I know that this is going to continue to do like so. So whatever fence I have has to fit here and can't be struck by this piece on either side. And I don't think I need to do anything with rounding this off because it seems to be missing on both sides. Alright, so let me figure out another piece of junk prefab chipboard, fiberboard, some kind of garbage like that. Look, there's an IKEA tabletop. Perfect. Corner busted off it. Chipboard garbage. But here in a minute, it's going to find new life as it becomes the fence on our miter saw. I have an old miter if you need it, brother. Yeah, and a miter box is a good solution. It really is. And some people may just want to go get a miter box. But some people do want to use the power tools. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not physically well, and they don't have the oomph to sit back and forth with a back saw. Maybe they ain't got that in them no more. An old miter saw. Now, I got a miter saw. I do. The person I'm helping out with, however, could probably get a miter saw, but the problem is that they wouldn't have any place to set it up, no place to store it, and it would raise 9 kinds of hell. I mean, they're in an apartment building, working out of basically a bedroom. So the other idea and the benefit of what I built here is that when it's all said and done, I take this thing, if we cut it off right there, and it's only this big, hell, I can prop that up in the corner and call it a day. And never have a set up dedicated miter station anywhere, but still all the functionality that we want. You know? Which is cool as hell. In a minute, I'm going to set up the table saw. Make a couple of 2-inch rips off this IKEA chipboard. See if we can't get a fence put on here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you for choosing to hang out with me. I do appreciate it. There we go. For those of you with sensitive ears, I'm going to kick on the table saw and make a cut. I'll come back and I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm done so you can cut your volume down now and it doesn't mess with you. In just a minute. Cut one extra. Now, again, for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to tack these on. You know, that might be a hell of a note. That thing might just be big enough. I get that little rounded corner for elegance. Split that in half, move that to the sides, and that becomes our fence. Maybe. For the time being, let's move this long sucker out of the way. I don't like how that T-nut sat. It came out. It backed out of the MDF, and I think it did so a little easy. Maybe I bent one of the barbs. I'll replace it. I got another one over there. Yeah, I bent one of the barbs. I'm not going to do that. That's no big deal. Personally, if that's the worst thing that happens to us today, I bet I'll survive. just fine. This one's got a little bit of booger in the threads, it looks like. And all of these unanticipated shortfalls that I keep running into, like the boogers inside the threads of this T-nut, are because, like most everything else, I am repurposing these items from something else. When I say you can get this out of some old knockdown IKEA table, that's exactly where I got it. I pulled all the hardware out and I kept it for reuse for times like today. Oh, it's just a little burr, nothing crazy. Let me look at the chat. I can't read the damn thing. Yay, says Jeno. Alright, that's neither here nor there. Now we know that that's good. I'm going to build a jig similar to this, or do any operations that do the same kind of thing. I want my fence to be coplanar, so that it's the same on both sides. We'll use a straight edge to make that happen in just a minute. What I need to do is stop being a moron. Hold on. Right behind you I have some power bits that I could just as easily use to drive this screw back and forth. Then you ain't gotta wait on me all day. Screw. Tell me, what are you guys up to? What are you building today? What are you making? Maybe you're just doing nothing but making a mess. Or cleaning up the damn mess. And that's well and good. John Ricker, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. We're prototyping a miter saw out of a jigsaw, friend. And I had a nibble on an order in 2 days. Ooh, it's kind of rough, man. I hate those droughts. It's always kind of hellified. Sorry about that, man. Change back over to the short bolt long enough for us to do this prototype. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm eyeballing my slot to the 45 grooves so that I know where my fences will start and stop. Ricker says he's exhausted. What the hell you been doing? It's Sunday, you ain't done a damn thing. How the hell are you going to say you're exhausted? Meta is blacklisting me. Ooh, damn, that don't sound right. Okay, so I know that one's got to be there. This one has to stop about there. So, let's screw it. That's pun intended. Let's just screw the damn thing down. For the time being, I'm just going to put one screw. Remember, we want our fence to be coplanar. And if I lock it down, I'm not going to have much call for being able to get it coplanar with one another. Cleaning and weed eating that damn yard, damn it. That neighbor's still raising hell with you, man? Y'all give Flex Arms and show some love to John Ricker. He's been having hell with the neighbor. Acting like a moron, shot at his dog. Called the city on him, said his yard wasn't pretty enough. I hate people like that. Drives me nuts when people behave that way. Because what the hell do you intend to accomplish? Right? You ain't doing anything to help anybody except to make sure everybody knows you're a jackass. That's all you're doing. Now, to make sure the fence is coplanar, of course, you can use a ruler or a yardstick. I've got a rule or a level. I'm going to use that because when I put something up here to make my cut, I want it to be able to register against the fence on all sides. I'm going to use this in my quick clamps, and I'm going to clamp this level straight to my fences. So that it's registered the way I want it to be when I drive the next set of screws. Gave us 10 days. Today's the last day. John, you about got it knocked out, or where are you sitting at? I mean, you work like a damn dog, so I'm pretty sure you're pretty close. If you ain't done with it already. Y'all hit that subscribe button and hit the like on this video. I'm going to send John's neighbor to your house to shoot at your dog. I'm kidding. Yeah, after it cools down, I'm going to go back over it with the weed eater so it's all the same length. Sounds like you just about got it beat up, man. I'm glad to hear it. Shout out in the chat. Shit like that is exactly the reason why you chose to live out in the country. Alright. We've got a fence in there. We've got our carriage. I'm going to chop off the excess for these fences. Don't worry, General, this ain't the only thing I got. I got you a bandsaw equivalent too. Alright, so we're all chopped off. That T-nut just doesn't want to stay in this MDF. General, let's put that in the notes. We probably should avoid making it out of MDF because the T-nut doesn't want to stay. Especially because this part's going to move as much as it does. I'll either glue it in place or have something with a little more meat to it. Ms. Nikki, good day, ma'am. How are the islands? ¿Qué está haciendo? You doing good? All right. So you guys kind of catching what I'm throwing at you here? I think. Well, more importantly, the person that's going to use that. General, does this make sense? What I've done so far? I just grabbed a board here for the sake of argument. Torque this down. We'll have to devise a couple of things. Namely, we'll have to figure out how to impart a clamping system on here. We can lock this down. And then try to figure out a way to gauge our angle so that we can set maybe stop blocks or angle stops. But let's give it a maiden run. See what happens. Right. So I'm gonna, just for the sake of this, I'm just gonna push on the back so that I create a sandwich. Ease of operation, that wasn't so hot. I think it could be better. Quality of the bevel cut looks like it came out pretty well. That seemed to set up nice. There's not really any tear out. Ah, we're learning. Looky here, looky here. The reason that the cut had a little bit of issue with it was because of that stupid arc that I drew. Got in the way and would cut right through the MDF. But in doing that, we have gained ourselves a clue. We made it all the way through the board, which was good. Which means our fences are in the right place. And let's take a look at the aftermath. If I were to continue my fence line, my cut essentially ended right at the fence line. So that means I can remove all this material. It's not serving any purpose. Just go ahead and beat that up real quick. Okay, so all of that was unnecessary. Nikki, I am making a miter box to use with a jigsaw. Do you wonder why I'm putting up with that T-nut continuing to fall out and I'm not doing something like gluing it in? It's because this first iteration, I'm not going to waste any consumables on it. All of this I can still take apart and throw away if I need to. Reclaim these screws, do whatever I got to. And it's no harm, no foul. I think this is the portion in the live where I would like to instigate chaos theory. That being a principle that if something can go wrong with it, think about it now, shoot holes in it, tear it up. Tell me what we're missing here, guys. Do you guys see anything that glares out at you? What about this operation doesn't seem like it's going to work? I'm really interested in what Jenna would say, too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to be something you're going to be trying to impart. And while you do that, I'm going to hit my vape a couple times, pull off this Mountain Dew, try to relax on. We've got 11 people watching. Thank you for joining me. Well, now it went down to 8. What the hell I get? For those of you that have been supporters of the channel, I think I do, gentlemen. I've got a couple of things cooking in the back of my head, but I want to give everybody else an opportunity to exercise that part of their brain too. But for those of you who are supporters of the channel, I can't tell you, I'm so damn thankful. I mean, I look at things and I'm at 865 subscribers right now. Christ almighty, I never even expected that. And as I approach the 1,000 mark, I already got people with other channels that are poking me in the ribs and saying things like, well, when you hit 1,000, you know, you do the monetization and you can do the super chats and the memberships. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, maybe I'll do something. I got a couple of things in mind. I will probably put something together where members can reach out to me anytime they need to. They can get my help with a project. They can ask me questions. They can bounce ideas off me. Tell me where their engineering ideas might be wrong, whatever. I'll do my best to help them out or point them in the resources of places and people that can help us along. Put together maybe some members only videos based on what you guys ask for. Get you guys a little additional entertainment that will be exclusive to you. Maybe put together a whole second channel just for members, with some extra lives and extra cool stuff. I haven't really given it any thought. Well, I have given it thought, but I haven't come to any constructive conclusions. What am I doing? Kevin, I am doing my best to put together a miter box that will work with a jigsaw, so that somebody can still accomplish what you could do with a compound miter and not have to take up that footprint or have a dedicated miter station or a miter stand. So far, we've got just a little old box, about 2 foot by 1 foot, with a pivot point and a little carriage. This dang peanut is going to drive me nuts. Find a way to sink that in there better. Can't rightly hit it with a hammer, so let's use a clamp. Smash that sucker in there. Oh, that's what it is. I'm just not putting enough oomph on it. Well, let me get a clamp with a little oomph. These F-style clamps will let me get after it harder. Sorry, I know you guys are just staring at a board right now. A minute, let this sucker sink in here. So Kevin, the idea is that we've got a miter box set up here and a carriage that will rotate to let us ride a jigsaw in there. Be able to make some steady, decent cross cuts. It's already done pretty well. The first beta test, we cut this guy. Cut came out clean. Cut came out straight. No tear out. It stayed on. So we're on to something. Now we just gotta work out a couple of more little kinks. angle iron would have worked better. Well, yeah, but angle iron isn't necessarily as accessible. So far I haven't used anything except some junk that you could get off of an IKEA table or shelf, which is another real big benefit to some of the people that subscribe to me. It seems to hold together well. You're absolutely right, Kevin. Now, how do I cut angle iron in an 8-story apartment in a bedroom? Hacksaw in about 4 days. Yeah, you're right. That's the other thing that worked out good with this, is that other than screwing screws, we've only used the jigsaw so far. Or the jigsaw itself is the only mandatory tool that we've had to have here. All right. So with that being said, and I don't know exactly where are you thinking the angle iron would go? That's the other thing that doesn't make any sense, Kevin. Where does angle iron serve a purpose that what we already have doesn't accomplish already? Where does it make things better? Talk it out with me. What I'm looking for is tell me the problem that we're solving that hasn't already been solved that angle iron solves. Michael S., I'm doing phenomenal, man. How are you, brother? It is a beautiful day. I think I know how to solve this unelegant piece of kit, which is this screw. I think if we make a wing nut that goes on it. So like this. Hey, Jim. Make a wing nut or a handle. That one over here. We'll just bang one out real quick, guys. I'm going to make a quick handle for that. Because eventually we'll need it in order to tighten that down and loosen it up. We can use this piece of plywood I just used. That'll work. Come over to the drill press. Sorry if you guys are saying something right now. I can't see nothing. I'll come back and read it in a minute. Handsaw in here. Lock that down. Now you guys get to hear the joy that is my chitty chitty bang bang drill press from 1927. Works a lot better if you center the bit, Mike. It's the only downside of having these old drill presses. That old Jacobs chuck requiring a key. I mean, I could put a keyless chuck on it, but I think it takes away from the vintage flavor. Maybe to get a lot out of a minute, shoot me a message on and run something by you. Okay, we can do that. Alright, so what I did, I went to the hole saw and I just made me a handle. I'm going to turn that into a grip handle here. And I'm going to do so using the spindle sander behind you and a drill bit to make a hole that will allow me to use this screw as a tap. And then I'll thread this sucker all the way on there until it's all the way up here. And then I got a nice handle I can turn. Give me a second, I'll be right behind you. Running the spindle sander. It's another project I need to get done, ain't it? If you're new to the channel and you're hanging out, thank you for doing so. Why does my channel even exist? Well, I think a good portion of it is that I'm a professional tight ass. And stemming from that, hate's a strong word, but I think it's the only applicable one. I cannot stand the idea of things like planned obsolescence and corporations doing whatever they can to bend you over because they think you're too dumb to make do without them. And I think that just about chaps my ass. I don't like it. Well, I might need something to do too. There's a couple other reasons why I do it. The more I do this, once I fall over and go to the great by and by, if I do end up going to the great by and by, if my boys ever need me, they can still come back to the channel and come talk to me. At least have me talk to them. Still be able to teach them stuff. I seen Kevin write "Hey June" and all the things. You know what all happened? You know what happened in my head? The damn Beatles. All I wanted to do was scream, "Hey June!" Can't do it any farther than that, or else they're gonna nail my ass with copyright. La 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 la. Well, I'm flirting with disaster doing that. That song stuck in my head. Thanks, Kevin. What the hell are you mad at me for? I can do it. All right. Now we got a good way to lock it down. I'll show you what I did. So I just ran a screw from a hole saw in there. So now we've got a handle to facilitate us locking this down. Do whatever we gotta do. Don't blame you for my screwed up brain. Oh hell, I don't blame anybody for my screwed up brain except me. And I don't think it's screwed up. Doctor was talking to me, said there, whatever ADHDs are, hell, he said I got 80 of them. And my ADHDs, I like to call it spicy brain. My brain be doing some spicy shit. All right. So now we made it there. General does bring up two very valid points that we need to work on next. How can we lock this down for clamping? And how do we get repeatable measurements? Right? My wife's on the other side of things. It's absolutely hilarious. She'll tell you that she's got CDO. She got OCD so damn bad that she's got to alphabetize the letters. Okay. Let's work it out. All right. Jeno, you know your space better than I. I think I want to preserve as much of this depth that I have here as possible, which is 13 inches, because then I can add a hemispherical piece here, or a piece that holds a hemispherical groove that lets me attach another anchor point here. And then you've got that. But then that, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Okay. Get it in frame so you guys can see. All right, so if that's the case, and we put another anchor here with a slot, that will accomplish the problem, or that will solve the problem. But then our jigsaw will slap into that bolt and hit it right there. So that limits our travel to about 6 inches. I don't know, Jenna, what do you think? Would you rather have that additional travel so you can cut 2x8s, 2x10s, 2x12s? Or is this smaller carriage path something that's doable. And I mean, of course, General, keep in mind, I mean, it's not like I'm going to pack this up and send it to you. I mean, I'm trying to help you try to go through the paces. So maybe we suggest lengthening this carrier so it can come all the way back out here and still have an anchor point, but leave a hemispherical slot so that we can make this adjustment like so. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? As long as I can get the angles, yes. And I think, and I'm not going to finish building out this prototype, General, because I think you can kind of get it from here. But I want to show you how I think you might be able to pull that off. And it'll be rudimentary, but I think it'll make sense what I'm doing. Hold on. A couple of chunks of 2x4 and a scrap piece of whatever the hell, and put it out this way, and then elongate this table like so. And the idea will be to follow this path across here, cut a slot just like that. Then, once that slot is in there, right? Then we can establish a compass using our speed square. So we start by marking 90 on either side. So we call each of those 90 on our guide. And then say I want we'll call that is our 15-degree angle right there. Well, hold on. You see where I'm going with this? So then I go to that line for 30, go to that one for 45, come back here for 90, do the same thing the other direction. 5, 10, so that'd be 15. 30 to 0. Okay, you see what I did there? Then you draw your channel and what you're doing to get your angle that you want. Do your speed square to measure your angles, or a bevel square if you got it. That's 15. Lock it down, make your cut. That's a 15-degree angle. Come out, flush that up. That's your 30. And flush there. That's your 45. Does that make sense? Well, I want to stick it out the other way, Jeno. The problem with putting it up here is that you'll never be as accurate. The farther out you go from your fulcrum, the farther you go from your pivot point, the more accurate you're going to be able to get. So I can get here, and I will have an absolutely unnoticeable amount of difference between that and 16 degrees, which is about right there. But the farther I go out this way, the more of a change I can make. Does that make sense? And the more dead-on nuts I can get with my setup. That is fun, and that is the kind of problem solving I love, y'all. I love being able to do this. Now, let's skip ahead, because the miter saw was the first of two problems I want to work on. And I'll dismantle that in a bit. Hope you guys got something out of that. You're still watching, so I have to presume you did. Where does the board go in? It goes underneath the carriage, which is why we gave it that bolt to be able to thread up and down. And that channel on the other side, you lock it down on the other side, and then the carriage is sitting over the top of the board, and the jigsaw is riding in the carriage. Hope that makes sense. If you need me to show you, I can bring it back up. I mean, you tell me. The other benefit of doing it that way in general, if you follow along with that thought process and use that pivot point and do that, you could hypothetically make that carriage as long as you damn well feel like. I mean, if you had the room for it, you'd cut a whole damn sheet of plywood with it if you wanted to. Okay. This one is an oldie but a goodie. And that's offsetting the need for a bandsaw with the jigsaw. And that we're going to accomplish with a box. What I did was I used some scrap plywood I had around here. Not the scrap plywood that's in the chat. I mean actual scrap plywood. You know, not the guy. And the plan is I skip past all the tedious shit, have this box built ahead of time so we can cover this and the more intricate parts. Anytime, Lonnie. I'd do just as much for somebody I like, buddy. I'm kidding. So what I did, check it out, Jenno. I left this at, I basically built a cubicle box, but I left one side wide open. And I did so for cord, strains, cleaning up dust, etc. I created a recess the same size as the shoe on my jigsaw. So then that boy will wedge and shove right up in there. Just like that. Now, if you can't get the friction fit like I did, right? That's absolutely fine. It's not a big deal. You can use a couple of boards or a couple of sticks, go over the top of this and just screw your jigsaw in place. But then I covered the hole that I made, I covered it with another smaller piece of laminate. Very thin sheet good material. In this case, some leftover hardwood floor that I got off of the maintenance guys. For those of you who've been watching my videos, you already know I've got a ton of that crap laying around here. But it's good, durable, slick 3/16" material. Perfect for this kind of application. Absolutely. You're right, Jim. Just lock it in, screw wash, whatever you got to do. Then, I'll put my jigsaw blade in. Easy breezy. I get my fat finger in there. That's a lot easier, I promise you, when you actually see what the hell you're doing. You know what? I'm going to take it back out. I'm going to put the damn blade in. And then I'll thread it through the hole. And that'll be a winner. Chicken dinner. Just like that. Blow it out your ass. I'm not trying to hear you. Alright. Small wood lock. Good to see you. Now this time, I'm using my power strip. I turned it off that the jigsaw's plugged into because I'm going to lock the trigger on the jigsaw. So that's simple as that. We got a winner. Okay. And I just realized that I had my laptop plugged in the same power strip, so I'm going to move the power real quick to defeat my being a moron. That's plugging into the other power strip that I got sitting next to you guys. Heyo! Nice. So now this I like, but I don't like because doing. This has been the plague of jigsaws their entire life, is that you can exude so much deflection on this blade that you can. It's almost near impossible for you to get a damn square cut with it. It will cut though, however. I don't think anybody needs to see me demonstrate that. Unless you need me to demonstrate it, well then you buy it, just tell me. I'll do that. But what I want to do now is figure out how to keep this in line so it doesn't go stupid, and more importantly, so that I can use a longer blade if I wanted to. Like, see what I got here. I got a ripping jigsaw blade that is every bit as long as a sawzall blade. If you can't make it through wood with that thick, let's just say this is the wrong damn tool. I mean, let's just be honest about it. But this will give me more than enough, if I need to go long ways to a 2x4. Which for anybody that's starting out, 2x4 construction material is probably going to be a lot of the material that you're using. So let's trade off the blade we got. Pull that guy out. We'll put this big dog in there. And then we'll work out how to keep this blade true. start fighting. Be like Rip from Yellowstone. Y'all gonna fight, you gonna fight me. Alright. Let's get this thing jabbed in here. Oh yeah. Like that bull was meant to be. Well, if I don't slap the thing. Go to your home. All right. There we go. All right. So we want that to be square. We want it to stay there, which it is at the time being. How many projects am I doing at the same time? All of them. That bigger blade, I didn't put a big. Nope, I just wallowed my friction fit loose. It's alright, in order for us to get this done, I'm going to have that tight. So, in a second and do exactly what the hell I was talking about, which is to put a backer in here to hold it in place. It's been 10 days since I turned the tool on in my shop. Yeah, I can do turnbuckles. I think what I'd much rather do though, is I'm going to try to get pretty elegant with this. And I'm going to toenail some screws into each side. Maybe. Or fashion a type of brace like I was just thinking about. That's a smart thing. Alright. Vitali, how are you, friend? Thank you for joining, man. Hell, it's a Harbor Freight jigsaw. What am I doing? I just drill a damn hole and screw the damn thing in there. Be done with it. Why am I being so stupid? We are making a bandsaw jig, yes sir. Thanks you for joining. Good to see you, man. Looks good for my house. All right, try that again. There we go. We do want to keep this surface up here smooth, but what I did was I countersunk the screw so that it sits below the surface. It'll never get in the way of anything I'm going to cut. So now, if you didn't know, gentlemen, it's this guy right here. It's a countersunk bit. It'll drill a pilot hole, but there's some barbs up here that will drill a larger hole for the head of the screw so that you can sink it flush, and it won't stick out, protrude, and be proud. Mike, I'll holler at you later. Got something to run by you. All right, I can't wait, John. Thank you for coming. So now I want to figure out and fashion a guide system for this longer blade that I'm going to be running. And I don't think that's going to be too hard. We've all seen it happen in the past. Let's just build one. So that we are good to go. And I think the big key to getting this done will be these guys. These are falling all over the place. These are 608 bearings, most commonly known as skate bearings. I'll give you two guesses where I got these from. I pulled them out of an old set of rollerblades from a garage sale. Chucker, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. So what I plan to do is, now that we've got this set up for a bandsaw setup, we'll take a pair of our skate bearings from the rollerblade and we'll build us some guide rollers, much like you'd see on the upper guide on a bandsaw. And then use a third one on the back here as something called a thrust bearing. Now what that thrust bearing does, all three of these work in unison to prevent this from exuding any deflection, either forward, back, side to side. It keeps it as true as it could possibly be, and we keep ourselves with a straight cut. What's it called when a rig like this with a wire saw instead of a saw blade? Oh, that would be this jig's little cousin, which I happen to have right over here. Come on, Gladys, come say hi. That's Gladys. Gladys is a scroll saw. If that's what you mean by a wire saw. Gladys and our new jig have a benefit over the top of a bandsaw, in that you know what I can do with Gladys and our new jig that I can't do with a bandsaw? This. I can cut interior holes, but I can't do that with a bandsaw. There's no way. The bandsaw's blade is an enclosed loop. There's no way to put it into the center. Just a second, let me turn up Gladys. Okay. Am I the only one that tunes their scroll saw like a piano or like a guitar? When she's on a B flat, she's tightening off. Back to our jig. Our jig will let us accomplish the same thing as with the scroll saw. Because we can cut interior holes with it without leaving a seam where we had to get the blade in and out. But this will cut much more robust than the scroll saw ever would. And if all you have is a jigsaw, this will replace a scroll saw, because they sell bitty jigsaw blades that have just as much curve. Maybe, I mean, it's right out about the same as the scroll saw blade I got on Gladys. it's actually listed on the blade as a clean scroll blade. So I think you'll be good. Mr. Wes, how are you, my friend? Wes does it. If you guys aren't subscribed to that man, you are missing out. That man is cooler than the other side of the pillow. So now, we've got this established. We're set X square. And remember, just like our bandsaw, we don't have the benefit that Gladys has. Gladys has got that upper pin where she can hold on to both ends of it and pull back and forth on it. We've got this free swinging out here, so deflection is a problem. We're going to take a cue from the bandsaw with our 608 bearings. We're going to create us a guide set that will rest on an arm that goes over the top so that we can hold this in place and keep square, true cuts for the entire time that we have to use this as a substitute for our bandsaw or our scroll saw. In a second, I'm going to get a little piece of wood together. Again, I hope everybody's doing wonderful. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Sunday. Oh, that's good news. It looks like a storm's kicking up out on the west. If we get rained on, I'm not even going to be mad about it. And just to chat Kevin, who was talking about how many projects am I going to do in one live, I got another one. I'll be showing you guys this, maybe on another live, a crosscut jig that will let you use your circular saw, your jigsaw, your router, anything you got, and being able to use it like that AccuTrack crap that I think Craig sells. Get straight cuts on sheet goods, nice and easy. It's got an adjustable width set, so you'll be able to use any one of your tools on it. So for the arm, which angle would get it out of the way less? Front to back or from side to side? That's a good question. We can go either side and then up and over like this, which will give us the benefit of all the run out back here will never collide into anything, which most of the time when we're cutting, we're going through the blade this way. So I have a higher probability of maybe running into the post if it's back here. So I want to maybe avoid that. I think I want to do it in a gantry over the top, like so. Although it is possible to come straight up, over, and then down, which will free up everything except for there. But for me, and when I cut, I guarantee you that damn thing's going to get in the way. It's going to bug the hell out of me, and I'm going to end up moving it to the sides anyway. Or I could up on one side and bring it down. But for stability, I think I'm going to go two sides, and for simplicity, two sides with a gantry arm, and then a swing with my bearings in the middle. Let's get some wood. I need some wood. There's some wood. And just to pinch the butts of every purist out there, I'm going to make the gantry out of walnut. Because why the hell not? Just to chap somebody's butt. I can't believe you used walnut to make a damn chop jig. Yes, I did. Kiss my butt. It ain't your walnut, is it? As they used to say in the neighborhood when I was a kid, why are you worried about what I'm doing? Are you paying my bill? When you're paying my bills, you can have something to say about it. You ain't asking dumb questions at all, General. You are asking incredibly valid questions. Tell him, John. The only stupid question you ask is the one you didn't ask. I'm going to cut this off real quick. God, it smells good. All right. So we got a gantry that we're going to put over the top of it like so. Everybody can see okay? I'm not screwing anybody up, am I? Anytime, anytime. This is a welcoming community. I would be remiss to find out that I was wrong in saying that any of these people would do anything but welcome you with open arms, appreciate your questions, be as thoughtful, helpful, and supportive and kind as they possibly can be. The people that subscribe to me, they're damn good people. They held a good lot. So now that I got that, I think I'm going to determine, well, what's probably the smartest. Well, I did leave some overhang on either side. I wonder if I should take a rod and flush that up before I try to put those gantry arms on. I guess I don't have to. I mean, for the sake of the prototype, so it makes sense. I may just get lazy as hell. Put some spacers back there to keep them 90 degrees. Absolutely, John. If you didn't ask anybody a question, how the hell anybody going to expect you to know the answer? You only know what you know. Okay, so to give myself some stability, I think I want those gantry arms to run down a ways into this cube body on this box that I built. So I am thinking I'm going to make them suckers pretty stout, probably about 9 inches long. And again, I'm just going to use the tool we're building to do what we're doing. So I'm going to pull 9 inches. Mark that off. Give me a cut. Those of you looking like I'm struggling with the power button, it's because I'm saying that you hook this thing up to a power strip, but the power strip that I'm using is actually embedded on the underside of my table over here. So I got to fiddle around down there to find the power strip. I'm just trying to do that for demonstration. I hope it isn't that distracting. I'm going to make the second cut at 9. Now on the smaller pieces, even though I don't even have the upper guide, it's still cutting pretty straight and pretty square, pretty true. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Go back over there, Senor Walnut. Nobody likes you. The land's handmade. Is he in here? I don't think the land's in here, is he? The land's good people too. Hands down. For those of you that are familiar with him, we just ended up pulling off something pretty awesome. Thanks to his efforts and the efforts of all of his supporters and members and donations, they ended up pulling up over $2,000 to donate to the Wounded Warrior Project. So they had a big shindig about it, and they damn well should, because they deserve it. They earned every damn hooray we could give them. A lot of the people in here were part of that too. So if you help Lamb, Rusty, and everybody else reach that goal, again, big shout outs to you. There were a lot of creators that kicked in donations and made things for giveaways, and it's pretty kick-ass. John, I'm glad you do now. It is a hell of an outfit. And they deserve everything we can do for them. I figured this next part really didn't require any discussion. I mean, you guys know what I'm doing. I'm building this part. Just screw it together. Like so. And then we had to put a slide carriage for our bearings. Just like that. Can you guys see okay? Do you guys see what I'm doing? Flip it around, give you guys a better view of what's up. And the plan is, my blade being here, we'll put another piece that sits like so. That'll hold these two 608 bearings just like this. So that that blade's moving up and down, these rollers are holding it square and keeping it in place. And it doesn't do this jockeying on us. Thank you, Billy. I mean, it ain't anything to write home to mama about. I'm not going to win a damn Nobel Prize for it. But I hope it's useful to somebody. Caleb, thank you, man. I try. For those of you that aren't familiar with what I do, that is what I try to do every single week. I want to show you guys, impart a little bit of what I've been able to figure out over the years so that you can take that back to your shop, feel a little bit more comfortable in your shoes with coming up with maybe sometimes out-of-the-box solutions to problems. Maybe circumventing something that seems to be commonly an issue for you. You might be able to accomplish it due to something you see one of us do on this channel or in the community. And I promise you, if that happens, I'm not going to be mad at you one bit. That means we did our job. None of this is crucial operation. I'm just eyeballing it so that it sits in place like it's supposed to. Well, I didn't account for the damn bearing guide itself. So I'll need to cockeye back a little bit from it. Just like that. There we go. If you are just subscribing, thank you for helping me to help others fight the power. I was talking about it briefly on Wes's live stream last night. Seemed to be a good time to bring it up since I'm the person talking. And it's a lot faster for me to talk than to type, even though I do both of them at great length. My problem with everything in our society right now, as far as the commercial environment is concerned. Take care, Cedar. Good to see you. The thing that kicks me in the tail about it all started with a secret cabal. I know this sounds really conspiracy theory, but historically it is 100% true. A secret cabal of industrial CEOs and bigwigs coming together in cahoots to absolutely screw us. And every time I think about it, you may hear my tone change in my voice, but it pisses me off to no end to know that that many years ago they did this and started this chain of events that we're stuck in now. I refer to something called the Phoebus Cartel. Phoebus, the name of a god, the keeper of the light. Rewinding history to the time when, just after Nikola Tesla, Edison, Westinghouse were all jockeying to decide whether electrification of America was going to be on AC current or DC current, what was going to happen. P.T. Barnum was electrocuting elephants and all this other jazz. It was just stupid. But once all of that was concluded and they decided that AC power were going to be available to houses across the country, they started electrifying everything, which means gone were the days of the kerosene lamp, right? I can just buy a damn light bulb. When they put together the light bulb, they determined that in hindsight they had built it too well. There is a light bulb, I believe, in a firehouse in New England that has been there for almost 120 years burning, and they've never turned it off, and it still works. It's one of the first light bulbs they ever created. Well, once you had 120-year-old light bulbs, the durability of things came into question, and the CEOs of General Electric, Westinghouse, Sylvania, all of these electric companies that were building these incandescent light bulbs, they decided they needed to have a powwow, because if they sold everybody a light bulb and the light bulb lasted until grandma passed away, well, eventually then everybody's going to have a light bulb. And when everybody has a light bulb, who the hell's going to buy a light bulb? They determined that doing what they were doing was working themselves right out of a job. And that's when them sacks of crap, yes, I said it, I'm sorry, it is what it is, all came together and made an agreement with one another that no one would build a light bulb that would burn longer than 10,000 hours. And that if somebody did, they legally had to pay a penalty to all the other companies for building a light bulb that was too good. That meeting was what was later became known as the Phoebus Cartel. I'm going to cut this plate. Give me just a minute. the temperature here. Give me a second, let me look at the thermometer. 2 seconds, I don't think it's too bad. Not bad at all. 92, about 31.5 Celsius. It's not bad. Anyway, Shardy, good to see you. Yeah, I'll put some rubber feet on the bottom of it or whatever. Or another thing you could do, specifically, General, if you're going to be building this thing, is you can build some extensions on the bottom, build the bottom platform out wider than the rest of it, and then you can clamp it down to the table or something and it won't walk around on it. Alright, let me spin this around so you can see what I'm going to do. So the idea is that we have this mounted right here, and then attached to this will be our bearings. That will sit just like so. You can't see a damn thing about that. Fingers are in the middle. Does that make sense? And then these bearings will hold this true and square so it doesn't take off on you. And I'll probably move this a little further up so that you got room for whatever. That's probably the best bet. Another thing we can do is we can drive a slot right through here so that this can be adjustable and go up and down depending on the size of your blade or whatever you're going to do. Little did they know that when all them sacks of crap decided to get together in the Phoebus cartel over 110 years ago, they sealed the fate of my ass showing up. It took long enough, but now I'm here. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to let you guys have the power to circumvent all of the garbage they taught everybody else how to do. Where am I going to put that back bearing? I think the plan is I'll put a notch right in the center here that's wide enough for this, and a block that will screw on the back so that I can put a pin right here and it will actually be nested inside, something like so. And then your thrust bearings on the back, 2 guide bearings on each side, which we'll be able to do now that we've got this going. We can establish the guide bearings, which will hold this straighter, which will let us make the smaller cuts needed for us to create the thrust bearing. And for those of you in the United States, there is a much more immediate and fundamental reason why my channel exists now. And I just started it. I don't know if you guys knew, I just started this New Year's Day. The reason that I started it is simple. If I built it, you can't tariff it. You can't tax it. Because I made the damn thing. I didn't have to ship it. I didn't have to import it, export it, deport it, nothing. And I want to show you how to do the same thing. Hell with them. I'm going to get off my soapbox and digress. So the next thing I need to do is determine exactly how I'm going to set these bearings. And what I'm using is the blade itself. That looks like it's going to work more than dandy. So I'll find a way to mark that. Then I can drill out get ready to put my back block that I was talking about for the thrust bearing, and at least have positions for these guys. Ah, there's the smart way to do it. Use the bearing itself. Alright. Then I hook to that side. And that lets me mark out exactly where that's going to go. Perfect. So I got to blow a couple of holes right here. I know what this is starting to look like. Relax. So I blow a hole right there and right there. Get ready to put these bearings on. Which, also with the addition of the backing plate for the thrust bearing, I'll have enough meat to use my go-to fastener for prototyping. Oh, I'm about to curl somebody's toes with this one. Yes, drywall screws. Now, some of you have been fed a load of it. People,
Drywall screws are incompatible with woodworking applications as they don't have sufficient strength to be able to hold out the woodworking joinery and other application torque loads for wood.
boy, shut up. Matthias Wandel is an engineer, a retired engineer by trade, who conducted empirical scientific experiments on different kinds of screw fasteners. And these suckers will hold up just as well as just about any other freaking wood screw out there. In some cases, even tougher. And unlike wood screws, take care, John. Appreciate you coming in. Unlike wood screws, them suckers, you can buy those by the bushel. I got a very small piece that I'm going to be drilling. Another hack. I'm going to use my parallel clamp here to give me a little more substance to hold on to. To prevent this small piece from getting away from me. So my two bearings will go just like so. Those will be nested right there. Just like that. They're not fastened to anything because remember I got a backer block that I got to put in here for the thrust bearing in a second. That's so damn tight I couldn't even undo it. Okay, now we're also going to put, right in the dead center, we're going to put a slot that's going to let us install a thrust bearing in the back. We'll cut that out, right out of the middle like so, because then this bearing will sit right there, nested inside. Now I need my backing block, which again can be damn near anything, it doesn't matter. I don't know if I should use that cedar or not, that's kind of weak. Yeah, that sucks. Find something a little tougher. I had a chunk of oak over here somewhere. That ought to do her. Let's put our jig back up here so I don't step on it. I know it seems random, it seems strange and aimless what I'm doing, but if you're anything like me and you love what I do on the channel, I got to tell you, this is such a fun process for me. I love being able to troubleshoot, to diagnose, to problem solve, to prototype. I love doing this. It is so rewarding for me. And I hope it is for you when you try it. And truthfully, there may be a little bit of petty Betty involved when I love being able to stick it to the man. Them corporations that want to do me dirty, boy, if I get over on them, I just have a damn good day. You know what I mean? Hey, nice hard piece of maple. I love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is trace that out. Cut me off a guide block. That I will screw to the back of this. I'm back. Sorry I'm doing a delivery. I ain't even mad at you, Vitaly. Good to see you, man. Welcome back. Okay. Again, we're going to take our backing block. We're going to put it behind where our roller bearings are going to be. I'm actually going to use that front piece as a template and run these two bearings in place. No, that tapered head, I don't like that. That's going to split. Let me find a good drill bit that I can put drill number 3. Give me a straight pilot hole, not a taper. Lord, y'all got me going crazy. Look, I broke out drill number 3. See how much I love you guys? The progress is doing really well right now, Vitaly. It's really going well, I'd like to think. Another thing some of you may notice, and I should answer, because I'm sure the questions are out there, I have chosen a battery platform for cordless tools, and that happens to be Black & Decker. Why Black & Decker, you may ask? Because at the end of the day, Stanley Black & Decker TTI Tools is one company. DeWalt, Craftsman, I believe Stanley, of course, Black & Decker, and Porter Cable, if I remember right, are all made by the same company. When you open this up, and I promise you, I can show you how I know. When you open them up and compare, they are no different than these in a different color costume. Same motors, same brushes, same colors, same everything. Same variacs, trigger systems. It's the same tool. They charge you twice as much because the other one says DeWalt. This one, I mean, you can see the condition of these. I mean, I've been running these for years. Every bit as solid and durable as DeWalt. Which is another one of those stupid things that these companies do that bother the hell out of me. Why do you assume that I'm stupid? Why do you make the assumption that I can't figure out you're pulling a slick one on me? It bothers the hell out of me. Right? 18-volt Black & Decker's 5 years with no issues. It bothers the hell out of me that they decide to take it on themselves to assume we're too gullible to notice, that we're too uncaring to do anything about it, and worst of all, too stupid to do anything to get around what they're up to. You're absolutely right, Tolly. They do lack power in some projects, but I offer this as a counter argument. Every battery-powered tool lacks torque and power when compared to its corded counterpart. AC-powered tools with cords will always be stronger than these guys. Now that may end up shifting because now they're putting out all of this, 40-volt, 60-volt crap. But another thing I'd like to point out is that most of what I do is for here at the house. And technically you consider it a hobby, but I've made plenty of money out of this place. I will never beat up any of my tools to the degree that a contractor will. But then again, if you're a general contractor and you know what I'm talking about, when you hire a crew, they're going to treat your tools like shit. They just do that. They're going to throw them off the damn ladder. They're going to beat the hell out of them. They're going to pitch them in the back of the truck. They're going to drop them on the concrete. They don't give a damn. They're not paying for it. So that extra bit matters in that scenario. But for me, alone here in the shop, I don't care. Did I lose everybody? How you guys doing? You guys still awake? Alright, so we've got that far. Now the next thing to do is embed this just like that, so that we have our thrust bearing behind this, and we're good to go. Then we can put our slot in, figure out how to put it on the gantry, and we'll be good. So, how far back do we need to go in there? That yay far. I'm dozing off, to be honest. Well, Kevin, get the hell up. Do some jumping jacks. Or am I here for your entertainment? No, I ain't gonna sing that shit. All right. So the next thing we need to do is I'm going to cut the slot in this. I'm going to cut the slot in the backer so we can start getting ready to seat the thrust bearing back to our jig, which is coming out phenomenal. And since this is a work jig on a work table, Wes, make you feel better. Watch this. I'm gonna screw the damn thing right to the bench. There we go. "2:20 p.m. Oh, Kevin had a hell of a week, did you? I think a lot of us did. It was a weird week. There was a lot of people that had a bunch of stuff going on. Let me cut this notch. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a second. Now the thrust bearing is in behind it. Do the same thing to the backer block. For that, I think I'm going to screw these guys back together. No, let me put the, I can't put the bearings there. Because if I did, I'd try to cut the bearings. Nah, screw it. Hang on, let me feel all that. Okay, cut another notch. You guys enjoy. Actually, did you do much projects with pallet wood? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. More than you know. Yeah, Natalia, if you go to my channel after you subscribe, you'll be able to see that I actually built I build a garden bench quite often that is almost exclusively out of pallet wood. I sell those pretty regularly. I sold the last one from the last live. It got picked up yesterday evening. They gave me $100 and took it off. And I sell those pretty frequently. I keep that price a little low. You could, if you really got into it and made it, really, really nice, you could charge more than that. But I keep those at a very low price point so that I can turn them over, and if I need to make a couple bucks really fast, then I can sling out 3, 4, 7, 10 of those, and if I need to, make $3, $4, $7,000. Because heaven forbid this thing, helps pay the light bill or something, right? Oh yeah, that's working real good. How long would I recommend to dry pallet wood before working with it? That's a very, very good question. I personally don't have to very much, but that's only because I reside on the very fringe of the desert. So drying wood and moisture don't necessarily become factors for me a lot of times. So I can usually get away with working with most pallets that I receive right away. Tell me about your climate. For me to be able to help you a little bit more informed. I know what I did wrong. My drill bit isn't long enough. That's what she said. Bet you ain't complaining now, are you, Heffel? Oh. There we go, all the way through. The more I think about it, the more I think instead of a screw, I want a smooth shaft through that bearing, so I'm going to drive a finish nail through it. These are too small. I hope that the live has, if it hasn't been informative, at least it's been entertaining. And if you got any kind of value out of it, you know the drill. I'm going to ask you to like, ask, and subscribe, or whatever. But I'm only going to do that if you think that I earned it. I'm not going to ask you just for the sake of asking. You only do it if you got something out of it, please. Because I would rather not have a bunch of subscribers for the sake of having them. I'd much rather a community of like-minded people that appreciate what we're up to and what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. And now that I screwed it to the doggone table, I can't turn it around. Let me undo that. This around. So now the plan would be to rest this in between the guide bearings with the thrust bearing sitting behind it. I don't know if you can see how all that's built. Can you? Here, there we go. You see how I did it there? So now I got a guide bearing on each side and that thrust bearing in the back, which will keep the blade pressed up into the work and it won't swing forward and back that way. I could slot the mounting holes so that it'll adjust up and down, but for the sake of what I'm doing on the live, I'm just I'm just displaying the principles. I'm just going to probably screw this on so they can see what's up in practice. But the idea is that you put a slot right here with the screw being able to back out so you can move this up for a higher blade, move it down for a smaller blade, that kind of thing. I'm just going to stick it in here for now so that you guys get the idea. Because I bet you $1, if you've been watching for this long, you are somewhat mechanically inclined and may not need things spelled out for you that way. Now some of you might even find it insulting. So I'm going to clamp that in place. I'm going to run a screw right through here to hold that where it is. Ooh, it smells like walnut. Your thought? Let me answer it again. How long would I recommend to dry pallet wood? Vitaly, tell me about your climate, where you're at, and that'll help me answer your question better because for two reasons. Number one, it's variable depending on what your local climate does. And second of all, I have very little troubles with that myself because I live on the edge of the desert. Most of my wood is also very, very dry and remains that way for the most part. I was talking about it on my Thursday live that the heat index and the lack of humidity here gets to a point where usually if I glue something together with PVA wood glue, I can set it out in the sun for maybe 15-20 minutes. It's cured up, ready to go. It doesn't take long at all. The sun will bake you like crazy. You know that level in Super Mario 3 where the sun's dipping out of the sky trying to kill you? Yeah, it's like that here. Yeah, we'll put 3 in it for now, just to hold it in place. For the optimal setup, you'd have 2 screws in a vertical orientation right here, so that you're locking both of them as this carriage is traveling up and down. I get what you're saying. They don't want it to go cockeyed all in practice. The best part is now you guys can say you've seen me build something out of walnut. So there we go. Now we've got our carriage bolts, or our 608 bearings, holding everything in place. Keeping that blade parallel and true. So, let's cut some. Turn this back around to my orientation. Could I have sounded more Texan saying orientation? Dadgum. Alright, let's figure out something. There's an old chunky piece of 1/4 inch not plywood, plywood the material. We'll chop something off and then we'll draw something on here so you demonstrate a little better.
I need is dust collection. I don't need no damn dust collection. Have you seen my shop? Hell, the only dust collection I got is when the wind blows in here and kicks some bitch out there in the alley. I mean, that's all I got. I'm kidding. I got a dust collector sitting right there. I just don't use the damn thing. Although, I have been bouncing around the idea of something that you would call, well, I put an acronym to it, GYST. G-Y-S-T. And I don't know why, but I'm just doodling something on here while I'm on. You know what I could do before I do this? Let me turn y'all on to another little trick, because July 4th is right around the corner, right? Some of you guys are going to want to be doing American patriotic projects. You're going to be wanting to do all those things, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this before we cut this out. I see an important message that I've got to address here. Sorry guys, you're right with me. I apologize. Sorry about that. Somebody was asking about buying benches. All right. Let's bring you down here and I'll show you something cool. Yeah, Kevin, we could probably put a rip fence on there. That's it. If you guys are up for watching it, I'm up for making it. Let me get a ruler. Show you guys something cool. Just get a tool. There we go. Get a ruler and a square. Let's go find one of my little bitty ones. There's that, and precise enough. Oh, there's my little square. I know I had left it up here. All right. How to draw a perfect star. So I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to mark a line. This time I'm going to use 6 inches. 0, 2, 4, and 6. So that's what I've done. 0, 2, 4, and 6. Okay? At the center, or at the 2 mark, I'm going to go 90 degrees across there. And I am going to go, same thing, 3, 6. Then at this mark, I'll go 2 and 4. Here. All right. And if I mathed all this correctly, connect all these like so. So let's end up with that. I don't know if you guys can see it. Tell me if you can't see it. Now down that line, I'm going to measure 6. Down this line, I'm going to measure 6. And then I'm going to connect that one and that one. And I'm going to connect that one and that one. I don't know if you can see that with the hook. Let me go get a marker and I'll do it again for you to be able to see. How long is a piece of string? Well, it's about as long as you cut it. Get them? 2 seconds. Alright, so I'll do it again with a marker. That way you guys can see. I put a mark, a reference, 0, 2, 4. And then, at 90 degrees, I put 6 inches this way. So 3 inches out, 3 inches out, 2 and 4. Then I connect. I measure 6 inches along a line that connects those 2 points I just made. Just like that. Same thing going this way. And then all I do is connect my 6 inch marks to my 0 mark. And connect my horizontal and I made the star as it's dimensioned on the US flag. Now for the fun of it, let's turn this into a patriotic project. Because what else do we got to do? And we'll use nothing but our jig, our new machine, to make it happen. Move you guys up this way. Screw this bad boy back down. Now, let's cut out a star. So we got us a star. Yes, I do, sir. Yes, I do. And now, for reasons absolutely unknown, we've demonstrated that the saw will do what we need it to do. It cuts us a pretty nice little star. We're all set, good to go there. I don't know, let's glue that to a piece of wood. Paint some patriotic colors on it. That we might be able to make $5-10 off it. Because why not? Your results at the flea market may vary. You want to sell it for more, sell it for less, sell it for whatever. I had a ply that split on this one. So I was thinking I might just be able to separate the rest of that ply and get it off of here. But maybe not. Ain't too bad. Alright, so we'll do that. Do I sell any vintage saws? Hell, I ain't never even thought about selling them as vintage. Shit, Tolly, just about everything I got is vintage. But do I sell saws? Yeah, I guess if somebody really needs them. I'll show you guys the coolest one I got. Just how much this thing has been used. This is number 8 warranted Superior panel saw. This is too, but look how far it's been sharpened down. This thing has been going for a minute. And if you look at it, it is pitted like crazy. This is a number 8. I don't know if you can read that word. That's a number 8 from the Clinton Saw Works in Manhattan. Best as the research has come out, this thing was between 1892 and 1898. It's been sharpened like all hell. I did this in a saw sharpening video, and it still cuts like a champ, like it's brand new. Love it. I digress. We were making a patriotic project, weren't we? Found another little chunk of crap laying on the floor. Like a freaking fence picket piece. That'll do, don't care. That'll do. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Let's make a little money real quick, since we're at it. Put a line across there. Can you guys see? Put us a line. And this picket is 5.5 inches across, so we'll go 2.5 plus 2 3/4 right there. 2 3/4 up here. We'll mark that off just like so. We got our estrella that goes right there. Oh, we don't need to do that yet. Hold on. Put the glue yet. Why'd y'all let me put the glue? Don't put the glue yet. Dang. Currently on the hunt for a rip cut and a cross cut. Oh goodness. What size wood are you normally going to be cutting, Vitaly? That'll help a lot. Because if you're just cutting smaller project pieces, I mean, let me see, that one says cobalt blue, that one says white. Sorry, I'm colorblind, I got to read these. That's crimson, that's red. Okay. Found me a little paintbrush. Cut for a rib cut across that. I already read that one. So if you had dust collection, you have to keep giving wood a blowjob. I enjoy it, Kevin. Why you take away the simple joys? What you think about blowjob skills ain't great? Anyway, moving on. Hollywood's 2x4 and 4x4. I think you might be able to get away with something like a back saw. I don't think you need a big panel saw. Shut up, dog. I'd be willing to bet if you hang around for just a minute, you'll see what I'm talking about regarding the heat. Because, where'd that thermometer go? Yeah, I'm up about 101 now. I'm going to scrape some of this back in here. Because this is what y'all signed up for, right? I ain't kidding. I know 90% of you are here just to support me for the sake of supporting me, so thank you for doing it. Okay. Ahí está de azul. Este otro de colores. De colores. And I can't sing that either. That'd be copyrighted too. Damn it. Kizzy, good to see you. You are pretty good at trolling me, Kevin. I will not lie there. You are pretty damn good at it. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde? Hombre. Adiós, Juanito, aquí. I think the neighbors have had a few. Green song. And this one can look kind of rough and funky because it's rustic. So you don't want it perfect. And of course, I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm just doing shit. So maybe this will give you an idea of something that might turn a scrap board sitting in the corner of your shop into a $5, $10, $20 bill. God forbid that happens. That was for a little bit, Casey. Sorry about that. Hit it with a little white. And this surplus we'll use on the star. Again, I'm just kind of gooping this around. I really don't care if it's pretty or perfect or pinstriped off or anything. It adds to the worn country look of it. And get some chips of white on the red. Something like this. Take a little more white. star real quick. For those of you who do get down on Spanish, there's a Spanish lesson for you. We'll do it like Dora the Explorer. Esta es estrella. Can you say estrella? Perfect. Just throw a little white on this thing. This has an added benefit of a market here where I live, because the flag of the state of Texas is the Lone Star State with a single red bar, a single white bar, and a single, of course, white star. So even if they don't buy this in a patriotic sense for 4th of July, there would still be a market for this among those proud Texans who live in my area. This off. See, it's interesting because I'm already having hell trying to get this paint out of my brush because it's already dry. It's that fast. This acrylic paint is, I mean, yeah, it won't even come off now. It's already dry. Give this about 5 more minutes, it'll do the same thing. And now my plan is take our estrella, add a gobble glue. Notice I didn't say dabba. Stick that sucker right there. Maybe even put a pin nail in it. Because why the hell not? To hold it in place. And I had my 1.5" brads in there, so I of course nailed it to the table. Bend that over. That's what she said. And look at that. All made with our new handy jigsaw jig. Tell me guys, what should I charge for this? I'll stick it up on Marketplace right now and we'll sell the sucker. See what happens. I'm going to stick that out in the sun. Let that gear glue cure up. Out on the dash of the truck. Kevin says $15. We can get $15, you think? There we go. Probably could get 20, truthfully. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? All right, well, let's stick damn thing on Marketplace. Well, y'all are on the phone. I can't do that. As soon as we're done, then we'll handle that. Jenno, I don't know if you're still listening. Did I help you at all with what I did today? I hope I did. At least gave you the idea of how to proceed and get things done. Miss Heather, good to see you. Yes, vertical. I thought I'd give it a shot. Y'all can thank Miss Heather for doing the vertical. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what the analytics are going to look like after the fact, but I guess we'll see, huh? It's fun, it's young, and it's hip. Well, I tell you, I have never been accused of any of those things. I am fun, young, hip. No, I ain't got none of that shit. But I try. Is General still here, or do you have to go bounce out? I still got to watch it right now. 8, 9, 10 people. I hope that, well, and if anything, he can go back and he can watch the recording after the fact. I'll leave it up here. Jeez, to recap, what the hell did we do today? We built our miter saw jig for our jigsaw, so we could cut angles. We built our scroll bandsaw jig, which turned out pretty well. Show me the jig, please. Which one do you need to see, Kizzy, huh? This one is I've inverted a jigsaw, stuck it in here with a series of bearings so that you can use it like you would a bandsaw. Here, I'll cut something real quick so you can get some. Screw this sucker back down. Nice and easy. Love you guys. This works out well. We've got the miter saw jig done, and we even finished up showing you guys how to make a perfect star according to the U.S. code for the flag. Slapped it onto a cedar picket according to Kevin Ellis. We'll slap this little bad boy up on Marketplace as a rustic 4th of July decor piece. We'll ask $15 for it. See what happens. What do you guys think? My ADHD spicy brain, and I was going to show you guys how to do one thing, and hell, I ended up showing you how to do like 4 or 5 things. That's all right. I ain't mad. As long as y'all still watching, I'll keep teaching. What do you want to figure out how to do next? Kevin says dust collection. I guess we could. And a rip fence. You want to build one? Yeah, we can build a rip fence, dust collection, all kinds of shit for this thing. I don't care. It's your channel. I'm just putting content in. You tell me what you want to see. I think I got a delay on here. I'm not live. Let me try. Hey, there we go. I'm live on my laptop this whole time has been like 2 minutes behind. I'm dumb as hell. What do you guys want to make? What do you want to learn? What can I show you? Hell, I got a little bit of anything for everybody. Wes, are you still here? Or is Wes off doing it? Because Wes does it. I think he might have took off on us. That's quite all right. Damn, 3.5 hours. Christ almighty. I guess I've had you guys staring at me long enough, haven't I? Let me give you guys a turn. So you can go live and show us, showcase what you got. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I am, Ricker. I was just about wrapping up. Unless you had something you want to do, John. What's on your mind? Like I said just a minute ago, it's y'all's channel. I'll tell you what the hell y'all want on it. I'll put it up here. I keep looking over here because I can't read the text on that screen. I do got to go deal with Ricker, that's for sure. He asked me to collab with him and help him out on something. So if you guys are done with me, I think I'm going to roll it up, go inside and find me a glass of tea. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, man. I hope you guys got something out of it and you enjoyed it. All right. Awkward.